Story time about how my sister kicked me out of her baby shower. Don't get me wrong, I love my sister, but her husband and her are extremely stingy. When she told the family that she was pregnant, we were all incredibly happy for her. I was so happy that I decided to help her plan the baby shower. And then her best friend jumped on board, so we were both helping out with the baby shower. I asked my sister to make me a Pinterest board so that I could know exactly what colors she wanted and what the theme should be. I even went ahead and hired caterers, an entire wait staff, and my sister's best friend was in charge of all the decorations, which this girl put her own money into. This baby shower was the most curated, beautiful baby shower you could ever imagine in your entire life. We even had a 7-foot table filled with charcuterie board stuff. Charcuterie boards are really expensive. When we started the planning, my sister's husband decided to foot the bill. But me being the best sister that I am, and her best friend being a very good friend, we also decided to pitch in. But then hit the fan. A week before the baby shower, her husband started asking us about how much everything cost. We even made a spreadsheet about all the costs and receipts. That's when he decided that he didn't want to pay for any of it. He said that we chose the most expensive things, and that because they didn't plan it, they shouldn't have to pay for it. Mind you, he said this to us after we had spent 8 hours decorating the entire backyard. I looked at my sister to see her reaction, and she had none. Instead of defending us, my sister did not say a word. I went up straight to her and I said, "Are you kidding me? Are you guys actually joking right now?" To which she said, "Nobody asked you to plan this." I broke down into tears because I had taken days off of work to try to plan the whole thing. Part 2 is up. Story time about how my sister kicked me out of her baby shower. Part 2. I couldn't believe my sister was telling me that I had to pay for the baby shower because I planned it. I'm her sister. Of course I would help her plan the baby shower. She probably would have found an excuse to get mad at me for not helping if I didn't. Anyway, remember her best friend who was helping me out? We both decided to be petty. I mean, we had already hired the caterers, the tables, chairs, so we went ahead and started canceling everything. Mind you, it's the day of the baby shower. So I called up all the companies and tried to cancel, but they said it was too late. So my sister's bestie and I decided to show up to the baby shower like nothing happened. But here's what we did instead. We told them that as soon as they show up to the party to ask for payment. So the caterer shows up and asks for the money. That's when my sister's husband looks at me and tells me to f off. And he proceeded to kick me out and my sister's best friend. That's when the florist shows up and asks for payment too. It was all happening at the same time because we asked everyone to deliver everything at the same time. Essentially, he was ripping out his hair and going crazy, and I just watched. Then he went around to our family table and told my parents that I didn't pay for anything. Obviously, I had already told my parents about this. That's when my dad tells him that it's his responsibility to pay for it. Then my sister and him double down and kick us out again. My parents were so upset. I don't speak to my sister anymore and she's already had the baby. My mom thinks I should be the one to extend the olive branch and just forgive her, but her husband legitimately scares me. It seems to me like he's been able to brainwash her, and I just don't want to be in the middle of it. But now I have a new bestie, and all is good. Bye.
Hello everyone, get ready with me while I tell you the time I literally ran into a guy at the store and he swore he was gonna marry me. I want to say this occurred maybe 2 or 3 days ago. Like, you know what, I'm just gonna go into Burlington to see what I find, but I only had like one thing in mind to get. I was passing the restrooms and I hear a guy talking, but I wasn't really sure if he was talking to me or not, and I didn't want to be rude in case he was talking to me, so I ended up turning around and he was talking to me. So I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, did you say something? I didn't get to hear you." This man proceeds to, conversate with me, and he was like, "Yes, I actually just wanted to tell you that like you're really pretty." He's like, "You're one of the prettiest girls that I've like run into." In my head, I was like, "Oh my god, these men, like, they probably tell all these girls the same thing." But he was like, "No," he was like, literally, he was like, "Your features, your cheekbones," he was like, "just the way you're dressed." And that day I literally was dressed like so normal and like so random, you guys. I literally had a like 2-piece Flexin set, so it was the sweater and the sweats, and then I had my hair slicked back in a bun, and then I had like my glasses, not like my sunglasses, but like my reading glasses, So he was like, "No, do you look like so cute?" And I was like, "Oh, like thank you." And one thing about me is like I get so awkward when people compliment me. I don't know why, you guys. I just don't know how to like react or respond. I feel like I've always been the one to like compliment people, so whenever people hit me up, I'm kind of like like thanks. So anyways, that was the end of the conversation with that guy, and honestly I want to assume he was in his like late 20s, maybe in his 30s. And so I ended up leaving the like furniture section and I started to go to the guys section, because one thing about me is I'm about to get some guy clothes, guy oversized sweaters, socks, things like that. I then end up leaving the guys section and now I am towards like the robe and the PJ sections. And then I just noticed that he was there. And so then I left that area, because one thing about me is like I'm really paranoid and I'm very observant. So when I feel like someone is following me, then I'm gonna be on high alert. So sure enough, I literally left that section and ended up going all the way back to like the beauty section, where I ended up getting this. I just ended up hearing the guy. I feel like he was just getting closer and closer to me, and I was like, okay, this guy probably wants to talk to me, or I don't know, something. I just knew he wanted to like get my attention again. Well, at this point, I'm by like where the hair straighteners are and some of like the shoes, and I just remember like overhearing a conversation with him on the phone. So basically, I want to assume he was talking to like his brother, because he had the phone on speaker and he was saying something along the lines of like, oh, like something of mom, do you think mom has this, mom this? So I just knew like it was probably one of his relatives. Anyway, so then I was like, okay, I was like, maybe he is following me, but like I don't also want to assume anything. I was like, let me just start heading to the cashier section. And so I go to the cashier section, and sure enough, dude, I just hear this guy freaking like approaching me, and I was like, okay, maybe he's just gonna check out, I'm not gonna overthink it. And then you guys, you won't freaking believe. So there's one cashier and there is one person already like being helped out, and then I'm the next one in line. And then I just noticed that the guy is literally like right behind me, and I was like, oh my god. But thankfully he was still on the phone with his brother. The guy ahead of me is basically done paying, and then the cashier calls me over, and so I'm starting to walk, and then she starts to scan my heat curler, right, my heatless curls. And then I just noticed that like this guy's like storming to my like register, and then he just drops it. He was like, no, he was like, add this also. He was like, I'm gonna pay for her stuff. And I was like, oh no, like it's okay. And he was like, no, like literally like add it. And the cashier was just kind of like, what do I do, like looking back and forth at both of us. And I was like, no, it's okay. I was like, I can just pay for my own stuff. And you guys, it was only like $6. Like I could have easily like let this man pay, but like I feel like I'm just so independent, and like I'd rather just pay for my own things. I don't know, I feel like it's gonna be very interesting when I get a boyfriend, because I love to spoil people and I love to just buy myself things and not like rely on somebody. So it's gonna be very interesting. But yeah, you guys, this guy was like, no, he was like, you're not gonna pay, like let me pay. And again, like I could have just let him pay, you guys. It was only $6, but you guys, it's literally like a battle with me. Like I'm gonna have like a battle of the check. I basically pull out my phone really quick and I start to tap my card, like my phone, on the like monitor thing for Apple Pay, and it goes through. And I was like, yes, thank God. I don't know, you guys, I just have this thing with me, like I'm gonna just pay, I'm not gonna let nobody pay. And so then literally he tells the cashier, he was like, I'm gonna marry her next year. We're literally gonna get married. She's gonna be my girl. He was like, we're gonna get married. And I just started like laughing, like out of awkwardness. Like this guy wasn't ugly, you guys, but like I just, no, just like awkwardly right there, like laughing, like ha ha ha, like I just want to leave. And then the cashier lady was like, do you want your receipt? I was like, no, it's okay. And I already start walking out. And then he literally was like, you're gonna be my wife, like I'm gonna marry you. And I swear to you, like there was another guy in line, he was like, I'm gonna marry her, she's gonna be my wife. He was like, just watch. He's like, I'm gonna get her this and that. He was like, she's not gonna end up having to pay for anything. This guy swore that I was gonna be his wife, and then I ended up leaving. And this guy was like right behind me. He was like, hey, he was like, I'm being for real, like you're gonna be my wife. He was like, maybe you don't want to give me your number and your information right now. He was like, but watch, I guarantee you, he's like, we're gonna run into each other again. When we run into each other, he was like, just know that it's meant to be. He was like, because look, we just ran into each other again. And I was like, okay, well, if we run into each other again, then maybe I'll give you my information, but until then, no thank you.